Hey, welcome back to the Wise Minds Guy podcast. I'm fired up about today's episode because we're talking about something that silently drains dreams, energy, and self-respect. It's called people-pleasing. Yeah, that habit of saying yes when your soul is screaming no. That smile that you put on when you actually want to crawl under a blanket and hide. That overwhelming schedule that looks like a color-coded nightmare because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. Let me say that this clearly. People-pleasing is not kindness. It's fear wearing a polite outfit. Now don't get me wrong. Being kind, fantastic. Being compassionate, beautiful. But constantly sacrificing your values, time, and energy so others approve of you, that's not noble. That's self-abandonment. As Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. And being one does not mean becoming everyone else's emotional doormat. People-pleasing usually comes from a good place. We want to be liked, accepted, needed. But here's the hard truth. When you try to please everyone, you end up exhausting yourself and still disappointing someone. You can be the juiciest, ripest peach on the tree, and someone will still say, I don't like peaches. So let's talk about why stopping this habit will dramatically improve your life. First, you regain your energy. When you constantly say yes to things you don't want to do, your energy leaks. You feel resentful, tired, irritable, and then you wonder why you're snapping at the dog for breathing too loudly. When you start saying no respectfully, something magical happens. You feel lighter. You feel clearer. You feel powerful. As Jim Rohn said, learn to say no. Don't let your mouth overload your back. And let's be honest, some of us have been walking around with overloaded backs for years. Second thing is, you build real confidence. Confidence isn't built by approval, it's built by alignment. Every time you honor your boundaries, you send a message to yourself, I matter. That's powerful. When you constantly seek validation, your self-worth becomes a public voting system. And guess what? The crowd changes daily. But when you stand firm in your values, that's internal strength. That's calm authority. Remember what Eleanor Roosevelt said. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And constantly bending yourself into pretzels for approval, that's giving consent. Third thing is, your relationships actually improve. This one surprises people. They think, if I stop pleasing everyone, won't people get mad? Well, maybe some will. The ones who benefit from your lack of boundaries might protest a little. But healthy relationships, they get stronger. Why? Because they're based on authenticity, not performance. If someone only likes you when you're convenient, agreeable, and overextending yourself, that's not connection. That's dependency. Real friends respect your time. Real partners respect your space. Real colleagues respect your boundaries. Now, how do you stop being a people pleaser without turning into a grumpy hermit who lives in the woods? Step 1 is pause before responding. When someone asks for something, instead of instantly saying sure, try this magical phrase, let me think about it. You've just bought yourself space. And step 2 is get comfortable with discomfort. Saying no will feel awkward at first. You might feel guilty. Your stomach might twist. That's normal. Growth feels weird. As Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most of the catastrophe you're picturing, it won't happen. Step 3 is remember your mission. You cannot build your dream like if you're constantly managing everyone else's expectations. You have goals, vision, purpose, and that requires focus. If every yes to others is a no to yourself, what are you sacrificing? Listen, you were not put on this earth to be everyone's approval machine. You were put here to live boldly, intentionally, and with authenticity. And here's the funny thing. When you stop chasing approval, people actually respect you more. There's something powerful about someone who calmly says, no, that doesn't work for me. No drama, no apology tour, no, just clarity. That's leadership energy. So today, I challenge you. Say one intentional no. Protect 1 hour for yourself. Decline one obligation that drains you. Speak one honest opinion instead of nodding along. Small acts of courage build unstoppable momentum. Remember this classic line from Dr. Seuss. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Alright, my friends, if this episode hit home, if it gave you a little bit of a jolt of clarity or courage, do me a favor, subscribe to the Wise Mind's Guy podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you got a second, leave a review. Your reviews help this message reach more people who are tired of living for applause instead of purpose. This is Napolis Lino signing off. Until next time, protect your peace, guard your energy, and remember, you don't need everyone to like you. You just need to like who you're becoming. Let's grow.